Hello, hello, hello. My Sunday sermon from the woods. So, in case you didn't assume it by now, I am an unapologetic forest bathing tree hugger. But you may not know that the term tree hugger, which typically means a person who's sort of a hippie-dippie dreamer, out of touch with reality. You may say I'm a dreamer. Well, it's actually a term derived from 1730s India. You see, the Maharaja at the time wanted to build this new palace in the village that was right outside of the city, and it happened to be home to a little sect of nature worshippers. And when the Maharaja ordered the destruction of some of their ancient trees, the female leaders and the members of this Bishnoi tribe bravely protested by surrounding the trees and wrapping their legs and their arms around the trunks to protect them in a peaceful protest. Tragically, many of them made the ultimate sacrifice before the Maharaja finally intervened and they compromised. But probably the term tree hugger we should actually use to mean something more like badass warrior. Fast forward to early 1900s America, a time when our country lived in deep fear of foreign invasion and foreign species. David Fairchild, food explorer at the time, working for the U.S. government. He's working to bring in different fruits and plants to the U.S., peaches and mangoes and avocados, and people are like, imagine that, hipsters, an America without avocados. But it was only after Fairchild saw the beauty of Japanese cherry trees that he became so enchanted and just obsessed with them that he had to bring some back. And he brought them and planted them at his home in Maryland. But people kept coming to his yard to see these out-of-this-world beautiful trees. And the President Taft at the time, took notice because at the time Congress had been working to beautify what was a very ugly Washington, D.C., and they happened to also be looking for a way to work on diplomatic relations with Japan. So thousands of these Japanese cherry blossom trees were ordered, and the rest is history. Imagine that. Trees are better at diplomacy than humans. So forest bathing, as we affectionately refer to it as hippies or tree huggers, is this activity that's been practiced by countless authors and poets and entrepreneurs and artists over the centuries. Tree time can be immensely creative and grounding when we feel stuck or stressed. It engages almost all of the senses except taste. Maybe don't lick your trees, at least not when the neighbors are looking. However, anyone who's ever read a Grimm's Brothers fairy tale also knows that the woods can be the stage for the frightening, eerie, spooky, scary scenes, usually the ones demanding that the main character face their fears. Forge into the unknown. Okay. And, though at the time, it might not make that much sense to the main character, usually they're being forged into the unknown, into something mysterious or bigger than themselves. That ancient wisdom that trees represent that eventually, though it doesn't make sense at the time, does make sense once they get to their happily ever after. I'm preaching to the choir. I realize you all know this. Nature deficit syndrome is real. But maybe today, let's not just talk about it. Let's not just give it lip service. Don't just read books or blog about it. Don't just watch my live video. Stop watching me. Come here, Penny. Come into the woods. Put your phone down. And actually spend some time out in nature. Touch a tree. Bring your problems to a tree. They might just bless you with the epiphany that you've been looking for. And they definitely know a thing or two about thriving and tenacity in the face of hardship. I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees!